Hello, everyone. By everyone, I mean Slobodan. It's you and I here. The other six who are here are a little bit apprehensive to come into the water. So there are five of you guys here. Two of you have liked, and the other three don't like, but only one showed up here. So what's going on? And Slobodan says, hello, man. I'm 21 Belgrade. And thank you for that. And he says, how are you? Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well as well. Let's see who's here. We'll be here for an hour or two, and then I have another appointment. We got to rush out to it. So hopefully we'll have a good discussion here today. And Maisha says, hello, Mehran, female 20, tuning in from Bangladesh. Hello, Maisha, dear. How are you? Good of you to join us. And MWCND, I believe that's Ali, if I'm not mistaken. He says, hi, Mehran. Hi, Mehran-chan. How are you? Male Norway 19. Yes, thank you. I thought so. That must be Ali, right? I still got the memory going, I guess, somewhat. Let's see. We have that. That's better. Yes, that's right. And Pranay says, hey, Mehran, 17, male India. Hello, Pranay. Good to see you all here. Did you guys get the notification, or you guys were actually expecting it at 1 o'clock? Chester, male 27, Hawaii. Aloha, Mehran. Aloha, Chester, dear. How are you? Good to see you here. We all wish we were in Hawaii right now. Hopefully someday the world will become normal again, and I can visit my beloved place, Hawaii. And Chester says, how are you doing? Well, I'm doing all right, I guess. Sunny day here. It was very cold last night. I mean, very cold. I mean, just 0 degree. That's, I guess, 32 Fahrenheit. That's 0 Celsius. And we were supposed to have lots of snow today, but perhaps we had a lot on mountains close by, but nothing have sat on the ground, on the streets here in town. But it is crisp and cold. It's a snowy look, but it's sunny. So there it is, the weather report from Vancouver. Now, 8 of us here, 5 of us like. What is these 3 that I haven't liked yet? What you don't like about it here? Must be my hat. Maisha says, I would love to chat, but it's 3 a.m. already. Oh yeah, it must be late there. It's maybe I need my pillows right now more than you two. Yes, you do. Say for that. No problem. We understand for sure. Have a nice sleep. Pranay says, I have a question. May I ask? Of course. And Sings Miranda says, hello, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate your live and videos. They have helped me through a lot. You're quite welcome. I appreciate you being here. But remind us about your gender, age, and where you tuning in from, which country you're watching the YouTube thing. I wish we were able to reach more people around the world, and when we would have live talk, we would have like a couple of thousand people. Instead, nobody knows about us, although it seems to be helpful to many, but we're kind of I guess, best kept secret on YouTube. But we like to let this secret out, and we want everybody to know. So if you guys don't mind, do share the live stream promo that I have on your social media. Let everybody know that this exists here, and then we can help them. We can help them if they just come in and see the support for their breakups and their some mental issues. It's here, and they can ask questions and they can watch the videos. And for that, I have a 1 minute and 47 seconds promo thing that I can put it here, and you guys share this link on your social media and let people know that this is here. Just a good introduction for the channel and the support that is available. And okay, let's see what else we have here. And of course, this one is a promo in Farsi for the same purpose, but this one is not talking about the live talks. It's just talking about the fact that they can consult with me on Skype for their breakups and so on. And that's in about 1 minute, no, maybe a couple of minutes. That's in Farsi, which I don't know how many of you will understand it, of course, but it's there. So we have it in different languages. Hope it will be helpful to some. So share it on social media if you like, and see how it goes. Maybe we get to help more people and get more exposure. Chester says, I'm doing good, Mehran. I recently got my RT, respiratory therapist. Good for you. Proud of you. Good for you. License. I will be starting my orientation next week, Tuesday. Good. I'm excited and nervous, but also scared on starting my new job. Don't be scared and don't be nervous. Just have an open mind to learn. And don't want to show how good you are. You just want to be like a cat, quiet a tiger, and watching, observing and learning. Learning from the best, learning little glitches, learning to whatever you've already learned. And then you become good at it. Don't just try to show off that you're good. Just be there to do the job, helping people and learn it. And that's all. That's all. No nervousness. No need for that. You're there to help. So what's to be nervous? You're doing everybody a favor and you're learning and enjoying your job. That's it. Just enjoy it. And do your best. Do your best. Conscientious, responsible, focus, and detailed oriented, precise, careful, all good. So when you come home, you will say, I'm proud of my day. I did my best with whatever situation was, interacting with people, patients, my duties. I did my best. There we go. It's a good day. Sins Miranda says, female, 18 UK. Oh, thank you for that. Says, I had a question. I'm 18 and I have still not gotten over my first love. And it's been 2 years. Oh, that was a puppy love then. 16. You were 16 then. Oh, yeah. Well, at that age, you fall in love with, I don't know, with a flower. Or a tree. You don't really care that much. You just are in the romantic stage of your experiences in life, beginning of it, and you're easily impressed. And since you don't know much about yourself, your selections would not be based on any standards that you expect, only based on your hormones and how you need companion, and you're interested in your, the boyfriend that you choose. So basically, it's a puppy love. Everybody goes through that stage, and you fall in love with someone, depending whatever your gender is, you fall in love with the appropriate opposite gender of yours, and you just can't help it. There's something about her or him you like, and that's it. But um, you're very impressionable at that age, and you think a lot of that feeling because that feeling is new. You have nothing to compare it to. Therefore, to you, it seems to be the most um, exciting or expectable or acceptable or most perfect feeling because you have nothing to compare it with. It's a first experience of that. It's like you have, I don't know, you have a certain kind of a dish and it's the first time and it's delicious. So you cannot make any comment about it. It is what it is, and you enjoy it and you feel it cannot be any more perfect until you have a few different dishes. And then you can see the different spices and cooking and this and that and the garnishing and all. Then you start comparing. But the puppy love, you have no say in it. You just think it's perfect. And then you always think of it as perfect, even though you've grown up and that what was a very interesting love for you at that age. Actually, if you focus on it, you'll see those credentials are not interesting to you anymore. Those standards are below your standards. Your standards have changed, and that kind of a character you would not accept today. But then you didn't have anything to compare it with, so you would think that's the best thing. That's why you feel so amazingly involved in that memory, because you're not considering what stage of life you are now and how you have changed and your standards and expectations are changed. You just remember the feeling, how you felt and were impressed then. And you think you would be impressed by the same person in the same way now that you have changed so much. Now, if you guys were together, you could have broken up with him already because you would have changed, he would have changed, he would have shown his changes. But at this moment, he's not in the picture. So all you remember of him is how he used to be, not the changes he has made from that age to this age, which could be not approved by you anymore. It's not within your standards and it would be below substandards. So you would have probably broken up with him. But you don't see all that. So you think, oh, that was the best, until you grow up a little bit more and you find someone while you have changed your standards, you expect a lot more from your boyfriend, and then you will be looking for that standard and you will be seeing it clearly that boy at your age 16 didn't have the stuff that you expect today. So lo and behold, be relaxed. That was not what you think it was. It was just interesting. Since I'm 18 and have still not gotten over my first love, and it's been 2 years. I unfollowed, but I still keep crying over him, and from time to time stalking his Spotify. How can I move on completely and stop crying over him and getting heavily depressed? Look, because you're not considering the fact that at age 16 or whatever age he was, he could not have had credentials and qualifications that you expect today. He was good maybe for then when you didn't know much about yourself, and you weren't much yourself. 16 years old, what do you know about life? Nothing. What do you have expectations? Nothing. You just want someone to love. That's all. So there was a guy there, whether he was same age as you or a couple of years older, but he was a kid. He still wasn't a man to be able to provide you. You're an 18 years old woman now. And pretty soon you'll be 20, 21, 22. It's time maybe you will consider a serious relationship or get married, whatever age it is appropriate for you. But definitely it's not now. Because right now you hardly know yourself. If you don't know yourself well, which you will in the next few years through life and life experiences and challenges, if you don't know yourself well, how could you know what kind of man you really want? What do you expect from a man? Nothing. Just companionship, friendship, that's not it. You got to see, what is he bringing to the table? What is he bringing to life? What kind of mentality? What kind of manners? What kind of morals? What kind of availability? What kind of emotional availability? What kind of ability to provide? What kind of ambitions? What kind of plans? What kind of goals? None of that was available in that 16 or 18-year-old boy that you were going out with a couple of years ago. Look at it that way. What did he have to provide for a life? Nothing. You just liked the guy. What did you like about him? Nothing. You didn't know what you liked about him. You just liked about him. He said hello to you. He smiled. Made you feel important because he was a boyfriend. But otherwise, in life, what could he build with you? Nothing. He knew nothing. Because why was he important? Because you knew nothing. Now you know a little bit more. When you finish your school and your college, your university, and you get to know a little bit more about life, then you would expect more of a substance in a person, more of an intelligence, more of an intellect, more of a plan, more of a methodical manners, more of the way that they would better negotiate life and interact with life, interact with challenges, interact with people. Are they there for you? Are they unselfish? Are they trustable? Are they treating you well? Are you compatible with them on the unconsciousness level? None of that was important to you, or you even knew or cared about it at that age. So that love is not love. It's just experience of how emotional expressions are at that age. Otherwise, if you're really serious looking for a boyfriend, that wouldn't be this age. It's when you're at least 22 years old, 23, 24 years old, 25 years old. You know what life is about a little bit. You know about its challenges. You know what you expect to combine your abilities to build something with that qualification of that person. And you know what you want in your partner's character and abilities, education, and so on and so forth. Now, right now, it's nothing. So understand what I'm saying and just move on, trusting the fact that you cannot choose that person that you loved 2 years ago for you now, or for you a couple of years from now, which you will be wiser and more higher in your level of understanding what life is all about. Your expectations would be different, and that boy couldn't have measured up. It was good for then, but it's not good for now, and definitely wouldn't be good for tomorrow or a few years from now. Why? Because you don't know how you would grow up and how you would develop into and how he would have been a few years from now. So you can't choose someone when you were a kid and you didn't expect much and expect that person would meet your expectations 3 years from now as well. No, because then you had no expectations, so anybody could qualify as long as it would smile at you, make you feel like you're important. But 3, 4 years from now, that person, if they have not worked on themselves and developed themselves, they cannot be any candidate or qualified candidate for you, because you're developing and you would be definitely expecting different qualities and standards. And definitely that boy would have not qualified. So knowing that, let it go. Don't sell yourself short. Expect excellence, and whatever you chose at age 16 was good for age 16. It's like telling me, I chose this dress age 16 and I still love it. No, it won't fit you. You're 18 now, and a few years from now, you're 22, 23, 24. It won't look good. It's out of fashion. It wouldn't look good. Your size would have changed, your height would have changed, the preferences, the way you would expect a clothes, the chicness, the classiness of it, all of that would have changed. The textile would have changed. But you're saying, no, I think it was good. No, it was great for then and for your knowledge at that time and expectations. What did you know then? What did you know to choose the dress that you would want 3 years from now? You could only choose a dress for that age, and you did. Okay, that was great. But you can't say, oh, that's the same dress I would want it 5 years from now. No, you wouldn't. Until you are really at the age of maturity with proper information about yourself and development, you cannot choose the right candidate for yourself. So whatever you chose, it was good for them. But what you choose at age 25, 26, then you can count on it that this could be something for long haul, because now I'm measuring a lot more carefully and also expecting a lot more, and I am more developed, and I am more certain about my expectations, and I have expectations and standards. You had no expectations or standards then. So you think someone that you had no expectations or standards when you chose him, would still be qualified when you do have expectations and standards a few years from now? No. So be a little bit reasonable and respect yourself, and don't just think, oh yeah, what? So anybody says hello to you is qualified. And Singh says, I just got worried I won't find someone that treats me like, oh, he was a kid. And the kid, he wanted to have sex with you, so obviously he was going to do anything possible for sex. Not necessarily that he could appreciate or know you, but he was just like you, a younger person who would just do anything for. But then who knows if he would stay the same way. You want to make your choices at a later age in your life, not definitely not 16. What's wrong with you? Don't get that ugly stick. Well, that's not for girls anyhow. We don't. Even if you have your motorcycle helmet, we don't use ugly stick on the girls. But boys, you guys watch out. All right. And, and she said, as he even became vegetarian for me and embraced my religion, etc., but I let him go. Yeah, because he was a kid, you should have let him go. No relationship, most often, unless it's some kind of traditional arranged marriage, but really, human being cannot make a selection at age 16 for his or her lifetime partner. Just at the time, it might seem like, oh yeah, that's perfect, because your expectation is not much. It meets your expectation at that time, which is none, no expectation. So everybody seems impressive. But wait till you grow up a little bit, and at age 22, 23, 24, 25, then your outlook for life and your expectations of your partner would be totally different than when you were 16 years old, for heaven's sake. So stop that. Stop that. Respect yourself. And Sayan says, I just wanted to thank you, Mehran. My HOCD is getting better. Ah, good. I lapsed now and I gave, but I lapse now and I gave, but I'm coping now and again, probably. I lapse now and again, but coping, and it's all thanks to your advice. I'm delighted to hear that. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Yeah, I hope you have watched the newest video, 50 minutes video, and that video is very interesting, and I suggest everyone to enjoy learning. It's not just about HOCD, it's used for that, to bring your attention to something. However, it is actually telling you the facts that has been proven by science, neurosciences, neurosurgeons, about that you are not the brain. And scientifically, it's now proven what was proven in the Aristotle time 1,000 years ago, that you are beyond the brain. Now science in the modern times have caught up with that. And this is very interesting for you to watch this video. So I put the link up here to educate yourself about understanding the separation between brain, thoughts, and you. This is very important for your life. Not to be bamboozled by the thoughts, intrusive thoughts, or otherwise that shows up in your head. You are not the brain. Brain is just a tool for you. It's an apparatus. It's something that added to your existence. You existed for 1,000,000 years or more, and then 40,000 years ago, the stem brain change to this sophisticated brain with prefrontal cortex and all the other stuff. We used to live based on amygdala, the instinctive, anxiety, fear, action, moving, instinct, and no ability to think or speak. Therefore, we had no problems, no confusions, no intrusive thoughts, because there was no ability of thinking in this sort, or speaking, or playing with the meaning of words or conclusions. It was all hardwired. You would run, you would sleep, you would hunt, you would have sex, your gender was clear, no questions about it. Why? Because there was no thoughts to be intrusive or otherwise. Therefore, there were no interference of any illusion or any malfunction or any questions. Everything hardwired, and everybody was simply mentally safe. There were no mental issues. It all started when you were given the ability to think and speak, and then that would malfunction, and it would cause you believe a garbage that would be result of the malfunctioning brain's function. And you would believe the brain because you were sold the bill from childhood that the brain is your smarts. It does math. So that's where it is. You are the brain. No, you're not the brain. Brain is the tool, just like your intestine. And your intestine gets diarrhea and your brain gets diarrhea. And everywhere else of our body and organs can go sick. And we are understanding all those other parts of our body when they get sick or malfunctioning. We know it's not normal. But when it gets to the brain and it comes up with intrusive thoughts and OCD or HOCD or all other kind of subsets of OCD thoughts, you believe it. You have a problem to simply understand that this is just like intestine. It has a diarrhea now. Is something gone wrong with it? I got to understand that something is wrong with it. Not that understand that diarrhea is what I am or what I enjoy. No, you don't. You understand that clearly. This is not normal for you. It's obviously. But when it comes to brain, you have a hard time understanding or separating the intrusive thoughts to your real thoughts. And you take them as truth because you believe the brain is where the intellect is. And in this video, particularly, and many other discussions that we've had, in this video that I just put the link up, it will show you that neuroscience of today's have proven without beyond the shadow of the doubt that the brain is not you. You are beyond the brain. And therefore, what brain conjures up in the form of thoughts or whatever else, suggestions in your sexuality, inclination, in your habits or whatever else it suggests, it's all bullshit. Because it has no authority. It's gone malfunctioning. Its signaling system is not working and making your body react to something that is not you, not your interest. But because it's the brain is very powerful, it can make your body react to things. And you got to be very careful of that. And because our species survival and its legacy is stamped by actions. Like in other words, our neurons or nervous system is not how we like when we die, all the neurons and all the nervous system, they all perish. There's no fossil of them. The bones stay, but there's no fossil. Therefore, there's no evidence of your existence. The evidence of the existence of our species by action. That's why we are programmed to act in order to leave a legacy or evidence of our existence. That's why when the brain comes up with bullshit thoughts, are programmed to acts up, and once that whatever it is conjured up in the brain, as stupid and abnormal it is to you, you have a feeling of acting on it because there is a mechanism in your system to act, because the action will be an evidence for your survival. In other words, it leaves a trace of you were in this world, your existence. Our survival is witnessed by our actions, not by what was the function and the process that was going on. Therefore, even though a garbage thought, intrusive thought shows up, you kind of feel like you have to complete it. You have to act on it. Not because it's your inclination, not because it's your interest, not because it's logical, not because you have any interest in that particular suggestion or thought at all. It's because you're programmed to turn into action whatever shows up in order for your species to have left a legacy. In other words, left a evidence of their existence. But if you don't understand that these thoughts that are not interesting to you, that are against your interest or inclination, not every thought that shows up needs to be acted upon. And the fact that you feel like you want to act upon some suggestion that is intrusive in your mind is because you're designed to act in order to leave your legacy, to leave a witness for your survival of our species. That's how we leave evidence and we leave experiences. That's the feeling that makes you want to act on what shows up in the head, not that you actually want to act on it. So you got to separate that and say, oh, I only act on the ones that I choose because I have the power of veto and choices. Therefore, whatever the brain shows up or suggests, it is not supposed to be acted upon. The fact that I feel like want to act upon whatever garbage shows up in my head is because I'm programmed to act on it in order to leave an evidence of my survival. But before I do that, I must exercise my judgment. My veto and choices would determine which suggestion would be worthy of turning into action and not that anything that shows up is supposed to be acted upon. That function, that program is there when we weren't able to think or anything. We would just act a million years ago, and those actions would leave a witness for our survival. Now that we think, we got to judge the thoughts before we allow them to become an action or actuality and give it life or not. That judgment is only in your hand, and you must remember that. Otherwise, not every shit that shows up in your head, you're supposed to act on it. Well, you know, all kinds of things, murders or stealing something from the bank or whatever else, or the opposite of what your sexual inclination is. All these thoughts, HOCD and pedophile OCD and all other kinds of intrusive thoughts shows up in the head. You're not supposed to act on them. So don't allow the pre-program of turning thoughts to action, which is for the survival, fool you to make you that every thought that shows up you're supposed to act. That's why you feel you want to act on something, not because it is you and you agree with this and it's your inclination that you thinking you should act. No, that acting of the thought is programmed, but you're supposed to judge the thought and suggestion before you allow it to become any action on it. So if you understand that, then you're beginning to understand the separation between thoughts, brain, and you. Anyhow, I hope these are helpful to you. And we have Slobodan says, I watched all your HOCD videos, but still seem impossible to be my old self. No, it's not. If you think it's impossible, then it is. But if you say, no, I protect my values, I am responsible to protect my sacred values. And those values are in my superconsciousness, are my gatekeeper, are my wise advocate. Many thoughts shows up in my head every day, you say, but only the ones that meet my values are meaningful to me, and the values are being sacredly safeguarded in my wise advocate, in my gatekeeper, in my superconsciousness. That is what I identify as my values. And if these thoughts, intrusive thoughts, do not line up with my values, then I have a duty to protect those values regardless of what kind of suggestion shows up a million times in my head. It's no different than you walk in the street and somebody says, hey, let me have the money you have in your pocket. 1,000 times they say, what do you say? It's my values. It's my belongings. I'm not going to give it to you. Hey, let me have your necklace here. Let me have your watch. Says, no, I won't. These are my values. How about if somebody walks in the street and says, hey, let me have my way with you? You say, hell with you. It's my values. I have to protect myself, protect my belonging, protect my values, protect my inclination, protect my body, protect my mind. So, like somebody else walks in the street and tries to convince you to change your beliefs or religion. You say, no, that's my value, right? Isn't it? You protect everything that is sacred to you. So is your gender. So is your sexuality. So is your inclination. Suggestions from out there by people or by your own brain is not supposed to sway you whatsoever. An epsilon. Because it is your duty to protect, not to sit there like a monkey and say, okay, yeah, you suggest I'm not this, okay. What the hell is that? You're supposed to stand for something. You're supposed to believe in yourself. You're supposed to protect your values. And for that, you don't pay attention to the bullshit that other people may say or suggest or expect or intend, or if it comes from your own brain. Because brain is not you, you're not the brain. You're beyond the brain and you're supposed to be judged what the brain suggests. Your veto and choices are the power, not the suggestions or thoughts. All right, let's move on to just as a thanks, Maran, being raised by Asian parents and being compared to other people's success have been the cause of my inferiority complex. I learned from you that I shouldn't compare to other people but myself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nobody's you. Therefore, nobody's even comparable to you. You're unique as I am, as everybody else is. And you cannot sell yourself short. Nobody has anything over you. Nobody. It's all propaganda. What are they boasting about? The money? The job? Or take the job and money away. What's left? Same shit. Still needs to drink water. Still needs to sleep. Still needs to shit. Still needs to eat. Still needs warmth and safety, safe place to sleep and all these. They're no different. We are all the same based on our needs, not different based on our belongings, stuff, money, car, this and that. Because that means you're here when you have these things, then you're here lower when you don't have them. What happens? So you got to focus on who you are, what you are, based on your values and how you negotiate day-to-day life. That's who you are. Based on your interests, based on your, what's important to you, what's meaningful to you. That's all. This Siri, but again, wants to. So I'm glad that you're feeling good and confident, and that's the beginning of it. You don't have to be. What is it? Forgot the word. You don't have to feel inferior or you don't have to feel superior. Just be yourself. Just live your life. Remember, people are important based on your people or things are important based on the need and desire you have for them. Otherwise, if you, same person or same thing, you don't have need for it, suddenly it's got no value for you. It's not important anymore. So all these feelings of inferiority is based on if you actually are comparing yourself with someone, if you want to have what they have, if you have any need for them, if you find them any useful for something, whether it's an apple or a friend or a handbag or I don't know, whatever money, job, car. It's all because of your need or desire for them. Don't need them, they're not important. And nobody is more important than you are for you. You're the most important person in the world to you. Everybody is the most important person in the world to themselves. Ultimately, yeah, you might want to sacrifice yourself for your children or loved ones, but ultimately, beside these sort of things, you're the most important person in your life. And you gotta appreciate that. You gotta value that. You gotta respect that. So that means, how could the most important person in life be less than somebody else? They may be most important person in their life, but not in your life. You're the most important person. So you're always, if not above, but equal to others. Simple. Cyan says, Slobodan, all okay, oh, good, you're talking to him, okay. Pranay says, I have a problem with social anxiety, mostly caused due to consciousness from OCD, and I get blushing nervous when watching some males, and the HOCD has caused loss of eye contact. That's okay. Look, next time you feel like that, like you look at some man out there and you feel whatever, you keep looking at that. Keep look at that person. So what's there for me to be anxious about? What? What? Just a human being. I have no interest in that. Why am I anxious? Because I want to be better than everybody. Because I want to be the perfect. I want to be the top dog. And I see them as a threat that they may take away my chances of being the top dog for the girls away. Why? Because they have maybe, I don't know, nicer hair, or they have maybe bigger muscle, or they have something that I wish I had it. And for that, I somehow grow a certain kind of admiration. And that admiration makes me feel like inferior because they seem to have more chance with the girls because of that character, that characteristics that I wish I had, but they have it. Maybe, I don't know, they're good, better looking than I am, but that threatens my chances with the girls. So I feel like because they have a better chance with the girl, I feel inferior, and that inferiority makes me feel an admiration. That admiration translates in my sick brain that, oh, you're now respecting this person because it's a sexual interest. No, it's not. It's basically association of all these words towards sex with women, and because the word sex, concept of sex comes in, and this person was a trigger of that concept being in the train of my brain process of association, then suddenly I think, oh, I'm having homosexual thoughts about this guy. No, it's because of the envy and the threat. You see that every other man is a threat to take away the chances that you would want to have to be the top dog with the girls. So that threat creates anxiety in you, and that anxiety makes you feel inferior because they have something maybe that you might want to have to think that you're the better man for the girls. Get away with that, because to be a man is not about your physical shape at all. It's about the characteristics of man, how manly you meet world, how manly you meet challenges of life. And that is what the girls like. So it doesn't matter how you look like, how bigger muscles they have or better hair they have. They cannot measure up to your manhood just because of their physical appearance. Because being a man is a lot more than how you look or what your body's shape and fitness level is. It's about how to meet life. It's about how to meet challenges. It's about how cordial you are to a woman. It's about how you can provide to a woman. It's about how honest and protective you are to a woman. It's about how bonding you can create between the woman that you like, unconsciously, and how available you are for them. And that is, being a man is a characteristic, it's not just an anatomy. So understanding that makes you see that that person's got nothing more than you. And the anxiety that you have is a threat that you feel that they may take your chances away from the percentage that it is for you to get the girls, because you think they're a little bit better looking or better, they got more fitness than you are. Something about them physically that impresses you. But if you focus on it, you'll see it's just another animal, another human being. There's nothing there to actually impress you, because there's so many things you can do. The problem is that you take one thing that you're not so good at and you compare it with the one thing that they are actually good at, whether it's their looks or their fitness, and you compare it with, I don't know, something that you're not good at. Take the best thing that you're good at in life and compare it to them or to the worst thing that they have. Look at something that they're not as good as yours. Or don't consider them a threat towards your chances to getting the girls. Just consider them, okay, whatever they have, their mentality might be so fucked up that they will not be hindering your chances to get the girls, because you're superior in being in girls being attracted to you because of your mentality and the way you treat them and the way your ability is to communicate and provide and treat the woman. So focus on what they are, not what you give credibility to them. Don't give credibility to people for no reason. Why should you? Focus on who they are, what they are, just another person walking away. But you give them an image that because they've got that muscle, then they're also capable in every other thing. No, they're not. Just a piece of shit, probably. So don't let your images introduce them to you. Let them, their behavior, their look, their lack of abilities or whatever it is, don't give them credentials in your brain. Look at them for what they are, and you can see they're no better than you, and there's nothing impressive about them. But you think they are, because you think your chances with the girls are not as much as somebody else's chance. Why? So many girls out there with so many different expectations, and you could have a lot better chances than the same guy that you're looking at thinking that he might have better chances. So nobody's a threat to you, because you're not interested in the girls that they would be interested in. And the girls that you're interested, don't think that those girls would be interested in that guy because you think he's got a bigger muscle or whatever. So, in other words, focus on yourself and don't think anybody is anything more than you. And he says, and I get blushing nervous when watching some male, and the HOCD causes some of eye contact. That's okay, because I know it's HOCD, so no problem. But these blushing nervousness was before HOCD. When watching people I admired, maybe, I don't know, but definitely wasn't attraction as I was and still am attracted to women. Yeah. It's just the way that you think they're a threat to your chances to get the woman, so you kind of feel, I gotta admire them. And because you admire them, you feel it's inferior. Then because you feel that inferiority leading from the thought of admiring because they seem to be having a little bit something more than you would have, and you see that a threat for your chances to get the girls, then suddenly you feel that would mean you have an attraction towards them, which is not. It's all wordplay and association that the mind plays, and it's got nothing to do with anything of that sort. Yeah. Atif says, hi, Mehran, 38, New York City, male. I had my first experience with erectile dysfunction with someone, and it freaked me out. Since then, I've avoided any porn and have just been researching this topic. No, stop researching. There's no research needed. when you are focused on being the best you can be and perform the best and satisfy your girl the best and all that, then you get too focused on it and you don't let your nature do its job, and then it just, that whole thing brings anxiety to you to perform the best, and that stops you from actually doing what naturally and normally without any effort it happens. So you're focusing too much on it, and you should not. Don't be focused on, I gotta be the best, perfect. She gotta think I'm the best, top dog ever, and the best sex she had. No, don't do any of that. Just enjoy, appreciate her, and see how beautiful, how wonderful, how enjoyable the whole experience is with her. And the rest will take care. And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out, because it just happens you were too serious about it, too anxious about it. You thought of her as a god. Oh, I gotta satisfy the god now. Make sure that she will really think I'm the best. I have to be the best. Why? Just, just enjoy. You know, she's not there because she thinks, oh, that's the chance to meet the best, whatever. She's just there because she likes you. So whatever you give to her, she appreciates. Just learn how to make love rather than fucking. Fucking is not loving. I mean, women don't just want to be fucked. They want to be loved. And loving is an art. You got to learn how the art of love making is. Don't think that, oh, the bigger dick I have and the harder I fuck, then I am the top dog and they will love me more. No, it's all about how you treat the lady, the woman, how you make her feel, as womanly as she is, how to know where to touch, what to do. All these have a lot to do with the pleasure she will receive. It's not about the size, or it's not about the roughness and this and that. They have their own places, but it's definitely not the size, and definitely not, how, I don't know, whatever else that you may think. So focus on balance, focus on the atmosphere that you guys create, focus on the enjoyment, focus on taking care of her, focus on appreciating her. Just enjoy that moment. It's one of the most beautiful moments in life, when you are with the woman of your choice and she's with you wholeheartedly and you guys enjoy that moment. It's not about, the rest of the things comes to your head. All right. And just as is Marin, I have one question for this live stream. What should I do if I'm trying to sleep but my mind keeps making random thoughts? Some nights I would be moving around my bed. I lost it. Where'd it go? Around my bed with these random thoughts. Okay. It's a serious question. I gotta have a little bit of a juice. Green apple, 1 lemon, 1 regular not sweet apple, and kale, and a bit of beet. But today kale, I had it separately before, and then beet is not there. But by the way, if you guys want to have the best by bar none, best lemonade you've ever had in your life, this is what you got to do. 2 or 3 red delicious apples or green apples, depends on what you like. And 1 whole yellow lemon, those big ones, with skin and all. You wash them. That's it. 3 apples, 1 whole lemon. Juice them. You will not ever be able to compare this lemonade with any lemonade anyway. It's all organic, it's all real. There's no shit in it, no water in it. It's all organic water, organic juice. 1 whole lemon with the skin and all, and 3 apples. These apples could be the apple of your choice. Red Delicious or It can be Granny Smith apples. I like, Granny Smith apples, a little bit on a sour note. And 2 or 3 apples would be good. Depends on how much you want. And if you got more, then double it all. Like, 6 apples, then 4 or 6 apples, 5 or 6 apples, and 2 lemons. All right, so I had this. Let's see what we have here. So Chester says, Maren, I have one question for this live stream. What should I do if I'm trying to sleep, but my mind keeps making random thoughts? Some nights I would be moving around my bed with these random thoughts. All right. First of all, you can't stop brain making thoughts. It makes 80, 90,000 thoughts a day. But the problem is that you think every thought that shows up needs attention. And I got to figure out what it means, and I got to discuss it. It's like somebody's talking to you and you will say, oh, it's impolite if I don't respond. No, it's not impolite if it's a brain. Brain is making thoughts all day long. You just simply say, I really don't care. Look, let me explain to you how it works, the process of thinking. If somebody asks you, what's your name? You say, Sid. Where you come from? Hawaii. These are not thinking. There's no thinking needed here. It's instinctive, information readily available, and you respond to a question as a snap response. Where are you from? Hawaii. What's your name? Sid. That's not thinking. But when they ask you from Hawaii to Japan, you have an aircraft with 2 engines and 102 passengers in them. How much fuel do you need? And with what speed do you have to go in order to get there in 11 hours? Or whatever hours, 6 hours, whatever. Then you go into your mind and start calculating the engine horsepowers, how many people, and then how much gasoline, how much jet engine I need, and the trajectory, the plan, figuring out from the time that the question is posed to the time you figure out how many miles left, or the question is like, how long does it take to get to Japan with this kind of a load, this kind of aircraft, this kind of a gasoline. So the calculation from the time that the question is posed to the time that you come up with the actual answer, that's thinking. Because you go in there to calculate, to figure out. That's thinking. Now, if you're trying to calculate, and when you find the answer, and you say, I don't know, 12 hours, then the thinking stops. Because you found the answer to the calculation that you were pondering, that you were doing. The process of thinking will stop when you find the answer. There are other ways that the process of thinking stops. That's when you're doing the calculation to find out how long it takes to get to Japan given the circumstances, but then you can't find it. You can't calculate. You don't know how. Then at certain point of while you're pondering, you say, I don't know. When you say I don't know, it has the same effect as when you have found the answer. The thinking stops. Because you commanded, you said, you concluded, I don't know. Or, if it's not that you don't know, you just say, when the question is posed to you, you start calculating, or you say, I don't know, or I don't want to know. Either way, when you find the answer, thinking stops. When you say, I don't know, thinking stops. When you say, I don't want to know, thinking stops. Because you take the mandate that is automatic in the brain in light of a question. We have been conditioned since childhood. When a question is posed, you got to answer it, because if you answer it, that means you're smart. That's how it's been in school. 2 and 2, I say, miss, it's 4. Good boy. We have been conditioned to respond to a question because we think it's mandatory, because it is in support of me being intelligent, and I want to be intelligent because I'm conditioned to think that I have to be more. In life, we've all been conditioned to think, I gotta be more, I'm never enough. And to be more, I gotta do things. To do things, one of the things is to answer questions. Because if I answer the question correctly, I get a brownie point. I get a star, I be considered smart. These are how I can be more. But that should have a off switch, that I don't answer to every question that is posed, because I have choices. And the choice is, I don't know. I don't want to know. Or I don't care. I don't want to answer. That's your switch, which we seldom use. As soon as a question is posed, I got to answer. Now, this has extended itself to our brain. When the brain comes up with a thought, I got to defend myself if it's against my preferences, choices, inclination, or whatever it is that I think it's right. So I'm now debating with the brain. The fact that you're actually trying to answer to the brain, that should be enough for you to tell you that the brain is not you, you're not the brain. And what do you do when someone asks you a question that you don't want to answer? You don't have the time, you're busy. You say, look, later, I'm busy. Yeah? And you got to treat the brain the same way. It asks you a question, it pops up a thought, a random thought shows up, intrusive or otherwise. You say, look, I don't care. I don't have time. It's sleep time. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll maybe think about it tomorrow. Or I don't care. I don't even want to think about it. You make the decision, but you're conditioned to think, I must answer in order to settle my mind. No, you don't have to answer to settle your mind. You just have to set the decree that I don't need to answer this. But what you do, you go data hunting. Oh, why is it like that? I should think about this. No, I don't have to think about any thoughts, because I choose not to answer. Like I choose somebody in the streets to say, hey, how you doing? So, fuck off. That's my answer. Or, hey, how you doing? Thanks. Hey, what are you doing today? I'll be right with you. I'm busy. I'm on the phone. What do you do when you're on the phone and somebody says, hey, can I? Say, listen, I'm on the phone. I don't have time. And you continue your phone. Same thing. When the brain shows up with something that you don't have time, you say, look, I don't have time right now. I'm busy. What am I doing? I want to sleep. So I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't care. It's not important to me to answer this. So the importance or the urge to respond to whomever asks you something, including the brain, in most cases. Now, the other thing is that when you have these activities in the mind, that's because it's like a car that has been running fast, and when you lift your foot off the gas pedal, it still has an inertia, it goes. So what do you need to do? You got to lift your foot off the pedal sooner, so it will eventually slow down by the time it's sleeping time, right? Because your mind is constantly active. And even when you want to sleep, it's still active. The ripples of the mind is still active. So what do? You need to teach your mind to bring the ripples to infinitely imperceptible decreasing ripples. In other words, through meditation, through ways of understanding, to slow down the activity of the brain when you want to rest, meditate, or sleep, you will deactivate the brain. You bring its oscillation activity lower before you sleep. How do you do that? You meditate. By meditating, you're putting your focus on one thing. That one thing could be simply your breath, noticing the flow of air into your nostrils and staying with that flow and noticing it, exhaling in, out, in, out. Breathe in, breathe out, and you see it, you feel it, and you follow with it. You accompany this air coming in and going out. When you do that mentally and you're aware of it, your focus would be on your breathing. It won't be on making thoughts, because you have commanded it to bring your focus to something that has got no meaning and no interpretation, just observing happening of something that is vital to your life. So it's interesting. You want to see that beautiful air going in and out. You enjoy that. You appreciate that. And you're with it. And while you're with it, everything else disappears because you're focusing on something very carefully. That would reduce the ripples of your mind, the activity of the mind, and brings it down, and then the thoughts stop being made and you become ready to fall asleep. So bring the ripple of the mind down by meditation and focusing on these sort of things, and stop adhering to a suggestion to follow a question or a topic that shows up in your head. Just say, I don't care. I don't want to know. Maybe tomorrow. Right now, I'm off thinking. It's like when you finish your shift work, you take the badge off and say, somebody asks you, hey, could you please help me? Say, I'm sorry, I'm off shift. That's the end of it, isn't it? So same thing, you gotta let your brain say, I don't care, I don't care, I don't know, I don't wanna know. It's sleeping time. So you don't follow to respond to the brain, and the brain gets conditioned. And after a while, as soon as you go to bed, it recognizes that it's time to shut up, because he's not gonna answer me. He's not gonna be entertaining questions or thoughts or intrusive or otherwise. He's just gonna say, not interested, don't want to know, don't care. That's how you train and rewire your brain for sleeping time. Hope that was helpful to you, Chester. Slowness is, with all my choices, vetoes, values, and principles, I'm die-hard straight. But those feelings are just stronger than me. No, that's the problem. You have to believe that they're not stronger than you. They're trying to convince you of something that you're against it. Therefore, let them be, but you don't have to address it. You don't have to understand it. Allow them to be. What you're trying to do, you're trying to demolish the existence of such suggestions. Don't. Let the suggestion be. As long as you don't, you comply to the suggestion, as long as you don't comply to the suggestion, you don't pay attention to it, let them be. Thoughts are allowed to be there. That's how we are. Human being's brain is stupid enough that it keeps making thoughts. Why? Because it finds its security in occupation. And occupation for the brain is creating thoughts, in activity. Because brain doesn't know how to become calm and find security. It finds its security in doing something. When you don't need it, it feels like, oh, I'm insecure, I got to do something, so I'm going to keep thinking about things. And then you simply tell it, look, you got to learn, don't have to think all the time. That's why we meditate. We teach our mind and body to become one. We teach our mind to be able to focus on the one point at the lower abdomen. Just there, like a horse saddled up, ready for me to hop on it and go where I want to go. Otherwise, it's just hanging there. It's not running around the pasture. And when I need it, I don't have to go catch it, bring it, put the saddle on, go. It's just there waiting for me. Same thing. Brain is all over the places because it has no security, and it finds its security in thinking about something. But you got to train it so the brain doesn't have to be all over the place. It will be like at the very small point of the lower abdomen because you've trained it, conditioned it to be there. Focus on that. When it's not used, when it's not needed to be used for something by me, it's supposed to be focused on where the weight of our body, upper body, is concentrated. A point 20 centimeter lower the navel. And it's just there. It learns to focus on that one point automatically. Even if you're not thinking about it, after a while practicing it, the brain will be there. Thoughts will be there, meaning they engage in nothing. Just waiting for you to say, oh, I want you to calculate this, I want you to do this, I want you to think about this, I want you to write this article. Then it'll start doing it. When you don't need it, it won't be doing its own thing. It won't be using its own apparatus to make all kinds of thoughts of all kinds of things, because most of our brain has not been trained. They're just rogue. They go wherever. They're trying to find security by engaging and creating thoughts. And then they're not disciplined. And they're very capable, very curious, capable. They pay attention to all kind of news and everything. And they want to make something and say, oh, I'm here. I can help. I protect you. I know stuff. Bullshit. Shut up. You just focus on the one point. Sit there. Wait there. Saddled up. Wait for me to call on you. You're my servant. Brain is my servant. Is not my leader. Brain is not my intellect. I am the intellect. Brain is a calculator. Mind is not a calculator. That's where I am. Brain is a calculator. Stop the calculation. By teaching it, you don't need to do any calculation unless I tell you and about what. These have to be trained, and then the brain will listen. You seem to think, oh, mind is stronger. It can do it. Yeah, mind is strong, but you got to train it. So it will listen. Horse is stronger than me, but I teach it, train it. So the horse will now listen to me. Comes. You hand up. Walk this way. Gallop with my signals. Trot. We're going to go on a jump, on an obstacle. Dressage. It's communication. You train the horse. You don't train the horse. That horse is not going to listen to you. It's going to mind its own. It's going to do the same thing. That's what our brains are. They're doing their own goddamn thing with no responsibility of anything and no attention to anything, including your gender. They just do, these information are there. How about this? How about this? You just have to teach them. They're undisciplined. So don't think, yeah, they're strong, but they're not stronger than your will. Why? Because when they choose, in fact, you can see in my report, in the video that I made for you guys, Benjamin Libet, Dr. Benjamin Libet, in his experiments showed that when the brain, when you're making a suggestion, when the brain makes a suggestion, before you make that suggestion, about half a second before the time you made the suggestion to do something, there's a spike in the brain. But when you actually make a veto and don't comply with that suggestion, you change your mind and veto that decision, there is no activity in the brain, which means the ultimate power to give life to a thought or a decision is in your hand, and when that happens, the brain is not involved. Brain is got nothing to do with that, which means you're the ultimate power, the boss. Everything else works for you. You got to train them to know who's the boss. And these are what takes time. And you got to stand your ground. That's the strongest person. And brain is a machine. That's why it seems strong. Why? Because it has no understanding. If it had understanding, it would understand who you are, what you're all about. It doesn't. That's why it keeps repeating its own bullshit, especially when it's got OCD and it's gone malfunction in its signaling system. Otherwise, you are the master, not the brain. You're stronger than the brain. Why? because you existed before the brain was added to you. If the brain was stronger, it would have been by itself an entity without you being needed. It was added to your brain, to you as a part of the stem brain that you had, because you exist. You are the existence. You are the sentient being, not the brain. Brain is just a tool, apparatus to facilitate whatever it is that you command to be done. You use it for what you want to do, not that the brain is you. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. You're the boss. Understand that. All right. And Sings Miranda says, I have a tip for you to grow your YouTube channel. Okay, I'm all ears. Make TikToks. Look, I tried to make TikTok and I wanted to load a 1 minute, 59-second, and I couldn't. It was only 6 seconds. It would not allow me. I don't know how to do more. They say it can be possible. I don't know how to do it. I looked at YouTube instructions and I couldn't find one so far. Maybe if you have one instruction how to load a more than a 6 seconds clip, let me know, because I opened my account. It's been 3 weeks, but I haven't been able to load anything on it. And a subscriber of mine suggested TikTok last year. And I just thought, okay, I got to do it. Yeah, I got to do it. But I never know how to do it. I never did it. 3 weeks ago I did it and I can't load up anything. Says the algorithm makes it easier for you to get noticed and you can recommend your channel. Yeah, I tried, but I got to learn more. Yes, I agree. And thank you for that, Miranda. Pranay says, Miran, I try to share as much as I can. Your content is very good and helpful. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy it, Pranay. Yeah, I need you guys' help. Look, we are here, and I know that this is valuable information, but there's only 14 people here. Come on, we got to do something. I know you guys are trying, but if you're not, share. Look, if 14 people share all on your social media, there bound to be a couple of people paying attention to it. I put the links for you there, and you can choose any video of mine that you want and put it on your social media and advertise for it. Like, let your group to know about it. Steven says, hi, Maran. Hello, Steven. Male 40, Los Angeles. Thank you for that. And Steven says, I passed my exam this past year. Good for you. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Thank you for sharing that. So it's just one more to go and I'll have a much higher paying job. There we go. That's my boy. That's what I want to hear. This is how you feel. Now you feel good. And don't think, oh, I wish she was here. I could share it with her. No, fuck that. You're on your way and you set your tone. Don't worry about that. Just keep on doing what you're doing. And Carpe Diem says 42 male Canada. Hello, Carpe Diem. Good of you to be here. And thank you for having the time to spend some time with us here. It says, good to see you, Mehran. What happened to the red football behind you? Yeah. Red football has fallen. Red football is here. In fact, I'm going to fix it right now. I'll fix it later. It's the tape is not really that good. It's old now. Slobodan says, Meran, gives me a lot of courage to beat this devil. Yes, you've already beaten it. You're just being fooled by it. That's all. You can't change you. Zadkill says 27 male Sweden. Meran, is it common to never know your partner in a relationship? I feel as if my ex pretended to like the same things I like and to behave in ways I like as if I never really knew her. Yeah, most people, they don't know each other because you have a image of yourself in your mind and you have an image of your girlfriend in your mind. And she has an image of her in her mind and she has an image of you in her mind. These two images are having a relationship. You hardly know it. That's why people they break up after a while because they really never had a relationship with each other. They had a relationship with each other's images in their own heads. And that's the problem. Khan says, at first I was scared of being gay, but now these thoughts just annoy me and make me angry. Don't be angry. You know, your attitude could be, okay, you want to say I'm gay? I'm gay. Okay. Just write the word gay and put it everywhere. You know, you see it, gay, gay, gay. So you won't be afraid of that word because that word has a meaning. But because a word has a meaning, that doesn't mean that when you see that word, where you hear that word, or that thought of that meaning of the word is suggested, that has anything to do with you. You just have created some kind of a power to that word that if you see the word gay or the concept of gay, that's going to make you gay. No, you're so diehard heterosexual that you're so trying to protect yourself that anything that from anyone and anywhere, any word, oh, I gotta destroy that word. No. Everybody has a right to live. Every word has a meaning and it could be there, but you don't have to pay attention to it. So, you know, you can put the word, write the word gay on a piece of paper with it here, put it there. You can even wear a shirt that says gay. So what? Get that anxiety out. It's just a thought. It's just a word. The problem is you don't look at it as a word. You look at it as a conclusion, description of you. No, it's not. It's just a word like any other word. You know, I don't know, car, truck, tree, heterosexual, gay. These are words, have meanings. You don't focus on them because the words or hearing them or the thought of it or image of it doesn't change you. You created the way you've created. That's not going to change you, whether you're homosexual or you're heterosexual, whatever your gender is, you're a man, woman, you keep thinking about whatever, it doesn't change you. You are who you are. It just annoys you because you want to protect yourself. Look, you don't need to protect yourself. You're protected. You have your inclination, you have your interest, and that's it. You're not going to act on a thought that shows up because you're the only person that can give life or take life from any suggestion, thoughts, or images. So when a thought shows up, you're the only person in the world that can allow that thought to become an activity, an action, actuality, or not. Let it die where it pops up. So as long as you have the power of veto and choices, it doesn't matter what pops up in your head. Allow them to pop up. Allow them to be. Don't be afraid of them. Any kind of a thought or suggestion of homosexuality, just say, oh, okay, thank you, I'm not interested. That's it. Move on. And eventually your brain learns, okay, this guy is not playing this game. It's just, I gotta behave to be his brain. Otherwise he's gonna not pay attention to me. So you gotta train your brain. All right. Miranda says, Meran, I got rejected from my dream university and I don't know if I should take a gap year, improve my grades, and then reapply. Only thing is I keep getting distracted by distressing thoughts. No, don't worry about the thoughts. Thoughts have no power, have no existence. They're just suggestions. They're distractions. It's like you're trying to read something and TV or radio is on. They are not the content of what you're reading. They're just distracting you from really understanding what you're reading. So they're distractions. So learn how to focus on what it is that you want to accomplish in life instead of focusing on the distractions. Bring your focus to what you want to accomplish, not what is, in the surrounding area. And about your being rejected from the university, so big deal. Go to another university and choose another topic. Don't waste your time trying to bring your grades up one more year for what? Go to that university, another field of study, and then maybe a year or two later, you transfer to that new field, the field that you originally wanted. Because a bunch of these courses for most of these majors, although they're different, but the courses in the first couple of years are similar. So you can take those courses and they would be accepted by that other department as well, and then transfer to that other department. Request it, say, look, I want to change my major. I've taken these courses, and a bunch of them will apply to the new major. Can I do that? And then your admission probably, talk to your advisor. They probably know the system of your university, and then you can get direction from them. Pranay says, damn, quite accurate breakdown about the nervousness I had. And I am relaxed after this nervousness because I always knew I'm not attracted to it. It's just anxiety. Thanks. Lot cleared a ton. Good. Thanks a lot again, Mehran. Helped me tons. Delighted to hear that, Pranay. Appreciate you sharing that. And Mani Sandhu says, HOCD is killing me. No, it's not killing you. It can't do a darn thing to you. It's just a thought. Watch my playlist, Intrusive, Transient, OCD, HOCD, Negative Thoughts, for detail of interpretation of thoughts and many other stuff about what is thinking, what is consciousness, how thinking come about. Especially video number 7 shows how powerful the brain is and how you should understand it. And video number 11, which tells you where thought originates, how it's born, the consciousness, the relationship between thoughts and consciousness. And video number 8 is very interesting, letting you know why intrusive thoughts show up at all. And then we have another playlist, Intrusive, OCD, HOCD, short videos. And mind you, they're not short, but some of them are. And that playlist is not interpreting thoughts, it's talking about separation between brain, thoughts, and you. And that's where you want to focus your mind on after you have cleared your questions that you might have in your mind about interpretation of thoughts. Who is Nova? Why are you saying shut up to sing Miranda? That's not nice. Okay, I think Nova is a troll. I don't like that behavior here. So I'll see how it unfolds. Please be cordial in these discussions and do not create division between people, otherwise I would have to give you a time. And Shaquinto says, I have experimented in the past, but it gives me anxiety. HOCD cause lots of anxiety and false urges. Is this some? Yeah, that's what it does. It's all false. Manny Zandu says, I need help with HOCD. Yeah. Well, watch those playlists. And of course, always remember, I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. So you need to talk to your psychologist, psychotherapist, and get direction from them. And they can help you with systems that they have, ERP and otherwise. And follow their advice. And then you can, assuming that you do that and you're doing and talking with your doctor, if you need to, then you can also watch the videos for additional discussions which are on a different tangent. Pranay says, check Miran's playlist for HOCD, will help. Emmanuel says, hello, Miran. Hello, Emmanuel. And Emmanuel says, do you think that the relationship between mind and thoughts is more or less comparable to water and wetness? You know, it's not mind and thoughts. Mind is different than the brain. Understand that. And I'm sure you watched the video that I put up. Are you, or the brain is you? It's a 50-minute video, very interesting, based on research of Dr. Egnar, which he was reporting on experiments done by Dr. Sperry, Roger Sperry, Dr. Penfield. These are all famous neurosurgeons, and Dr. Owen and Dr. Leibet. These are all world-known neurosurgeons and neuroscientists. And beyond the time of Aristotle, which was talking about mind and brain are two different things, that you're beyond the brain and brain is not you. Now, in the modern times, these neurosurgeons have proven beyond the shadow of the doubt that you're not the brain and you're beyond brain. And so it says, I can't imagine the mind without thoughts, since it is by means of thoughts that we know it. No, I'm not clear what you're trying to say. It's not like that. Watch my video that I have. Look, mind is outside of the brain. Mind is not part of the brain. Mind is where your intellect is. Mind is where your personality is. Mind is where your consciousness is. Mind is your compassion is. Brain is not you. It's not your soul. Brain is a tool. To understand that, you got to look into it carefully. For the same reason that when you witness the activity of the brain's activity shuts down. Just as the experiment was done in the laboratory on quantum physics, that when they put a measuring device, an observer, an instrument, to be in the lab, when the electrons are fired from the electron gun, passing through a steel plate with a slit, and the way it would leave the impression on the back wall of the steel plate, it was in a certain way, certain undisciplined way, when there was no observer. But as soon as they put an instrument, measuring instrument, an observer, an eye, outside of the equipment that was used to do that experiment in the quantum physics experiment, the photon, the electrons' behavior and impression on the wall changed, no longer as when they were alone, when nobody was watching. In quantum world, when you are observing, that observation, if it is outside of that mechanism itself, it will change the outcome of the activities of that mechanism. That's why this experiment was done, when it was done without the observer, without anybody peeping to look, see what's happening in the laboratory, its effect, impressions on the wall after the electron gun was fired, was different. It was many lines in this shape of waves and sporadic. But when they put a measuring device, it was all strict, as if they wanted to show their good face that, oh, I'm not misbehaving, even though nothing else was changed, no parameter, nothing. Just the idea of observer, because the observer, the measuring device, was outside of these parameters, these equipments, it was not part of the experiment, that made the changes in the experiment itself, which proves that the measuring device is outside, is not part of that experience, that equipment, that apparatus that was doing the experiment. Now, why I say that? Because if you right now try to look into your brain as we are talking, imagine how your brain looks inside of it. I don't know if you think of it as a compartments or rocks that you got to look under to find thoughts, or is it rooms in your brain, or is it all neurons? However you imagine your brain to be, I want you to sweep through it and imagine you're looking in all those little rooms or all those little compartments that you probably, I don't know, see what. When you're doing that, you will see there are no thoughts. You can't find any thoughts. You're not going into memory, you're going into the brain. You're visualizing the brain. You're looking into the brain. While you're looking all nooks and crannies, wherever, however you imagine the inside of your brain is, while you're looking all around it, you will not find any thoughts. What does that tell you? That tells you that you who are looking for this in the brain are outside of the brain. You're the observer, just like in the laboratory, they put that measuring device and it was not part of the experiment. It was outside of the experience. That's why the experiment suddenly behaved. So when you're looking for a thought in your brain, when you're looking to see where the thought is being created, where the new thought is being created, you will see there's no thought being created. There's no thought happening. Why? Because the brain knows you're outside of the brain. You're not part of the brain. And you're watching it because you're the master, you're the boss. You're the observer, and it behaves. Stops making intrusive thoughts. That is not when you're not watching it. When you're watching it, we're looking for it. It shuts down. Shows you that you're outside of the brain. That's a simple way of knowing that you're not the brain, brain is not you. But now, beyond the Aristotle and the dualism and defeating all these materialists and all that, the neuroscience and the scientific world in the modern times have proven it without the shadow of the doubt that you're not the brain and brain is not you. It's very interesting. A major paper says male 25, France. Bonjour monsieur, bonsoir. Comment ça va aujourd'hui? Says, hi Miran, your video have been so helpful to me. Glad I found your channel. I just have one question. I had HOCD 2 years ago, then miraculously, it went away. Then since that pandemic, I had it again, and I feel like my brain is jumping from a thought to another weird thought. For example, now when I see a nice girl on the street and get attracted to her, then my mind starts doubting, oh, maybe it's a man behind all that. Could be. Who never know? You never know in this day and age. Anything is possible. It's so fucked up. But that's what OCD and HOCD and all subsets of OCD is. It's a doubting disease. You know, French call it. It's their coin. It's a doubting disease, which makes you doubt about everything. But just because you doubt about it doesn't change the facts. So if you doubt about, the idea of that the brain shows up and wants you to doubt your inclination, that's a doubting disease. That doesn't mean it can ever be true. It's just a mechanism that has gone malfunctioning and suggests these, and the OCD, which is a doubting disease, makes you to pay attention to these suggestions as if they could be real. But in reality, they're not real. The illusion that makes you feel, oh, what if it's true? Because that's the whole idea. Most all OCD people are above average intelligent. And their problem is that they constantly want to get to the end of any suggestion because they're overprotective of everything that they are. So what if? They have this what if. That's the problem. The what if. Let go the what if. Say, oh, I don't give a fuck. What if? What if? I don't care. What if doesn't make anything true is a question. So I stop asking the question you think, and that's the end of that. Otherwise, you will be a slave to all kinds of. You will become a slave to stupid. Because why? Brain is stupid. Brain is not intelligent. Brain is not intellect. Your intellect is not in the brain. Brain is actually stupid. That's why it makes so many thoughts. Brain guesses things. It knows nothing. It guesses. And your job is to diss all these bullshit because you have core principles, because you have values. You have determined what you identify with, what your identity is, with your values. And those values are safeguarded as sacred values in your gatekeeper, in your superconsciousness, in your wise advocate. Dr. Schwartz calls it wise advocate. Dr. Philipson calls it gatekeeper. I call it superconsciousness. I forgot what I call it. Of course, I'm nowhere near the importance of Dr. Schwartz or Dr. Philipson, but my studies and research has enabled me to coin this as, or address it as superconsciousness, because it is something that is within your consciousness, and it's who you are, and it's going to be protected as part of your values. It's not going to be changeable, and you got to be aware that your values are where automatically you act on them, and no suggestion can change them. And you're supposed to protect all that. Anything that is not compliance and in line with your superconsciousness values, anything that is not complying and in line with your gatekeeper, the values that you've kept in your gatekeeper, or with your wise advocate, you diss it, you ignore it, you don't pay attention to it. Because your duty is survival. Survival of what? Survival of what you are, who you are. And what are you? Who you are is your identity, is your values. Where are they kept? In your gatekeeper, in your wise advocate, your superconsciousness. So your mandate is to protect what's in your gatekeeper, to protect what's in your wise advocate. to protect what's in your superconsciousness. Your core values and principles is what you're supposed to be protecting, not any bullshit that comes from your brain. If it's not in line with what your values and your identity is, you let it fall apart. You let it die. You don't pay attention to it. You ignore it. You focus on your life. You move on with your life. That's it. Simple. And then the more you do it, the more it creates rewiring your brain, and your brain realizes that, hey, even though his caudate nucleus, which is part of the basal ganglia, which is part of the striatum, which is malfunctioning, which is actually the automatic gear shift that is supposed to shut down the intrusive thoughts, although it's malfunctioning and not shutting it down automatically, but this guy is not paying attention to whatever I'm saying, the brain talk, thinks. So that means I gotta stop making this because he's not playing with it. He's not giving it energy. He's depriving attention to the bullshit that I'm making. Because honestly, everybody knows, or if they don't know, I know the brain says, I'm not him. I'm just trying to say, hey, I'm you. But he knows better. And he says, oh, fuck off. You're a tool. You're like my intestine. You're like my asshole. I shit on it. You're there for a purpose. You serve a purpose for me. You're not me. You're no different than my intestine. Intestine's job is to get food, turn it into energy, and then get rid of the feces and residues. And your job, you're constantly making thoughts for no reason. I don't need it, but it's your insecurity. In order to be secure, you find security in occupation, in making thoughts. So you're constantly making thoughts, all kind of gibberish, garbage. But it's my job to see if it's any use to it, and most of them are not. Therefore, I don't pay attention to it. And I let it die. And I want you to stop making this bullshit because I'm not going to play with it. When you create this kind of an attitude, it learns. Even the caudate nucleus is not automatically shutting down the intrusive thoughts, but your behavior, lack of attention to what these brain's activities are, makes the brain to realize that it is not going to be paid attention to, is not interesting, and is not appropriate for this person. So starts reducing the production. It's like supply and demand. The more people want something, the manufacturers make more. The less they want it, they don't pay attention, they don't buy it, manufacturers reduce production. Same thing with your brain. The more you pay attention to the garbage it makes more. It makes you occupied with that kind of garbage. The less you pay attention and don't pay attention to whatever it says or suggests or whatever, or images, whatnot, the more it understands that it's not interesting and there's no customer for it. You don't pay attention to it. So it kind of dies down. It loses interest to create those intrusive thoughts because the jig is up. You're aware that these are irrelevant to you. They're meaningless to you. And you behave it as if it's meaningless because it is, and it's not in line with your interest or inclination or your values in your gatekeeper, wise advocate, superconsciousness. Therefore, the brain learns if he wants attention, it's just got to stop making these and just waiting around until you call upon it to do a job for it, not to create all these bullshit. And every time if it does, while it reduces it because of your behavior, if it does again, you know what it is and you behave it the same way, and it will keep learning, and eventually it doesn't show up. And if it does again, you know how to deal with it and you know what it is and how to manage it. Welcome to the world of humanity. Our brain is not perfect. It malfunctions. It's only 40,000 years old, but we have been around for over a million years. It was added to us, but it has not perfected yet. It malfunctions. It fucks up. Until it doesn't, we gotta teach it, and we gotta make efforts to train this animal, because it's not perfect yet. So welcome to the world of humanity. We all malfunctions. You got to be aware of it. Don't think you're perfect and your brain is perfect. So what it does, it must be perfect. No, it's not. It's fucking up. It's malfunctioning. Understand that. Just like your intestine malfunctions. You get a diarrhea, you have no problem understanding. Oh, it's malfunctioning. Same thing. Come up with these kind of thoughts. You got to be very clear. Oh, it's malfunctioning. Not to believe it. Oh, yeah, the diarrhea is me, is my normal self. Maybe I've always liked diarrhea. No, you don't. You're very clear in that. Same thing. It shows up shit with your head. Say, well, hey, this gun diarrhea is malfunctioning. So I'm aware of it and I'm not going to pay attention to it. I just let it be and I don't pay attention to it. I focus on what it is that I want to pay attention to in my life, building my life, and the brain gets to learn to rewire itself through neuroplasticity because of your constant behavior toward these intrusive thoughts. All right. Jimenez says, why are you not active on Instagram anymore? I miss you there. I don't use Facebook. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I've been focusing on YouTube and on Instagram. I don't know. I don't know. I have to pay more time to it and attention and make little excerpts. Maybe I'll start uploading the same ones that I had to repost them because there are lots of good stuff in there. So I don't have to redo it. I pushed it hard at once, but then I kept thinking YouTube is the best, but I guess I might be wrong. I don't know. Miranda says, do you have any children, Mehran? Yes, I have. I have a son, and we're very close. And, you know, we grew up together in a way. Like we shared lots of things. We did homework together. We played tennis. We went to different grades of expertise. We traveled together. We did martial arts and all. We were very close. But he has his own company, and you know, I don't see him as often, but we're every day in touch. And we try to see each other as much as possible. And Pranay says, Manny's okay. Okay. Slobodan, you will because you want to. And that's the whole thing. Focus your mindset, achieve what you want because it's most important. It is most important to you, your identity, who you are. Protect it. There is no ifs and buts about it. That is your prime directive. So, doesn't matter what the enemy is. You protect your fort to death, meaning forever. That's our job. No, Miranda, that's not correct. Slobodan is dealing with HOCD. So that's very clear. Simple people will start believing it, but no, and don't suggest that because it's not true. You have to understand the separation between brain and you, then you will not give importance to what the brain suggests. You give importance to what your veto and choices are. And that's it. Your brain cannot suggest your gender. John Gerard says, "Hi Meran, I'd like to thank you for doing videos about love and life. It helps a lot." Delighted to hear that, John. Thank you for sharing that. And Sean Holloway took the bags. And Chester says, "Slobodan, don't listen to Singh's Miranda. Only you know who you are and what your values and desire. Nobody can tell you what you should or not and how you want to live your life." That's right, Chester. Good for you. Miranda, what are you talking about? All right. Let's go on to RB1901 says, "My high functioning bipolar disorder GF broke up with me and in an ugly way, making unbased accusations like bipolar disorder often do. Now I can't get away from this injustice. No catharist at the end of relationship." Why do you want justice from anybody, let alone someone who's got bipolar disorder? Justice from what? You already know that he's got some mental issues, and you want him to think correctly and justly in your case, even though you know he's got mental issues. But you have to be excluded from that mental issue. What are you talking about? Your girlfriend has some mental issues, and it makes her to say stuff that are not accurate. So what injustice? It's not injustice. She's sick. So understand that. Understand that process. Don't think about yourself. Just, she doesn't want to be with you. That's fine. You move on, and you don't need justice from someone who's already having challenges to deal with her own challenges. Hana Hera said, "Wow." I don't know what the wow is for, but okay. Chester says, "Mera, Nova isn't a troll. Check the conversation between Slobodan Miličić and Singh's Miranda. Nova is helping Slobodan Miličić because of his statements." Yeah, okay. But Nova had some kind of a funny... Oh, I see. I see. Now I can see the shut up Singh's Miranda. I got it, Nova. Okay, my bad, Nova. I misjudged you. Sorry about that. Because I remembered that Nova was here before and he was not a troll. But I didn't read the respond. I hadn't gone there. I just saw that respond. Sorry about that, Nova. All right. Let's see. Steven says, "Thanks, Maren. I'll keep doing what I'm doing and make sure to pass this next exam." I was wondering what happened to the red football also. Yeah, okay, guys. You guys are killing me now. I'm going to put this up right now. All right. This is how you put a Canadian football up. You put a tape, double tape. This is a craft day. Everybody notice. And then you tear it apart. You add to the already existing tape here. And then you attempt to mount it back on to here. And hopefully it'll stay. So, am I off the hook now? There it is. It looks better now. All right, got this done. Let's double check that. Okay, guys, I apologize. I have to end our discussion. There are so many other questions, but I can't respond to all of them. I have an appointment and I gotta drive somewhere. So it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here and sharing a thing or two with you. And I look forward to our tonight's live stream at 9 p.m., somewhere between 8 and 9 p.m. I start. That would be for a different time zone. However, you're all welcome to join me, and I'm sorry that I have to cut it short. It's already 2 hours, more than 2 hours anyhow. So I look forward to talk to you again. In the meantime, be good to yourself, to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.